it's quite traditional at these events to invite the audience to ask questions. But I'm not sure I want to do that.
Kvido's father was born with a high IQ into lowly circumstances. Day after day, for 21 years, they were brought home to him. The beds never made, the smell of gas and warmed-up meals, the empty bottles and the scattered bird seed. Night after night, the drunks leaving the pub next door would throw up right beneath the window of their one-room ground-floor flat in Sesima Street. The scruffy plaster on the wall outside was often smeared with the blood of gypsies from Nusle. Kvido's grandfather used to leave early in the morning or right after lunch to take the miners' shuttle bus to Kladno. Whenever he was at home, he would pace the room, smoking and crushing birdseed underfoot. "Life's a bitch," he was often heard to say. On other occasions, he would spend hours feeding the budgies or playing records of Louis Armstrong or Ella Fitzgerald with the volume up high. Kvido's mother, a furrier, was at home all the time, working away with her needle from morning till night. She would bumble around her old tailor's dummy, her mouth full of pins. The woodblock floor creaked. Kvido's father tried to kill time any way he could. He and his friend Zvara would go climbing the old walls at Vyšehrad. They would play hide-and-seek among the rolling stock parked in the sidings at Vršovice station. Sometimes they spent the night in the main hall of the local grammar school. Later they would hang out in a reading room at the university, which is the whim of Kvido's father, or at the Deminka coffee house as Zvara preferred. They would take odd jobs, and Kvido's father would spend 2 evenings a week at night school studying English. Coming home after nightfall and reading out of his textbook by the light of a small table lamp, the book propped against the poo-covered birdcage, he sometimes felt he was saying the words of some mysterious prayer. At one point, early on in their 8th semester, Zvara brought Kvido's father a ticket for the theatre. His expression spoke volumes. She, who had been its intended beneficiary, had for some reason declined. "What's the play?" Kvido's father asked. "Who wrote it?" He was no theatre-goer and could scarcely expect the play's title to mean anything to him, but he needed to have a cop-out in case the ticket was too expensive. "Does it matter?" said Zvara, as if appealing to the understanding of the passers-by. "Shakespeare, probably. Who else?" But he was wrong. It was Lorca's the shoemaker's prodigious wife. During the interval, they ran into a former girlfriend of Zvara's who introduced them to her companion, a slim, bespectacled girl in a dark blue velvet dress with a lace collar. "And not covered in budgie poo," Kvido always added. It was Kvido's mother. 3 months later, Kvido's father was taken for the first time inside the flat on Paris Commune Square. Obviously, he noted the size of the 2 rooms, the height of the ceilings, the gleaming piano, and the many pictures. But what impressed him most was Grandpa Jezi's study. The whole length of the farther wall was taken up by a mahogany bookcase holding at least 1,000 books, and in front of it there was a roll-top writing desk, also in dark wood, concealing beneath its slatted top a typewriter and much other office paraphernalia, including sealing wax, the family seal, and a letter opener. "Come in and sit down," Grandpa Jezi indicated a leather armchair. "Do you eat carrot spread?" Grandma Lieber popped in from the kitchen to ask. "Have done for 20 years or more," said Grandpa glumly, lighting a duck's cigarette. "I wasn't asking you," Grandma smiled teasingly. I'm talking to our guest." "I eat anything," said Kvido's father truthfully. "Don't worry on my account." "Don't you worry," said Kvido's mother, somewhat enigmatically. "She won't." Although both grandparents clung to a modicum of vigilance, Kvido's mother was their only daughter after all, the visit exceeded all expectations. Kvido's father kept a grip on himself and weighed every word, and so in the end Grandpa took to him more than he did to most of the young actors, poets, and scriptwriters who came to the flat to read their outpourings, blame Grandfather for the horrors of the 1950s, and spill red wine on his desk. "Come again sometime," he bade him almost casually as he left. But at that moment, Kvido's mother knew that Kvido's father had stood the test.